So for those worried about, oh, are they gonna actually get back to are they gonna have an episode of Amphibia and what the heck is going on? What about Marcy, Olivia Yunan, Sasha and all that? Well, here you freaking go, people. Oh my god, whereas Spider Sprig was a lot of fun, this episode was just, oh boy. How is everyone doing today, guys? My name's T Codes, and oh man, they know how to hit you. They know how to hit you, and they know how to leave some scars internally. I mean, dang, this whole thing, man. So yeah, this is episode 47B of Amphibia, Olivia and Yunan, which is, I guess, the best way to sum up this episode. I mean, oh man, this episode was holy crap. So the whole, I mean, yeah, no, this episode, man, it hits you where, I mean, it's like true colors hit you in a way because you knew things were coming, but at the same time you didn't know exactly the whole 100% outcome. This one it was a little bit more mysterious rather than true colors, because this one we only got hints from the trailer. We got a bit of a synopsis for the episode going in, so it's like we knew Olivia and Yunan were going to try and rescue Marcy, but we didn't know anything outside of that. Well, oh man, is this episode insane. So whole thing starts with a nice little flashback with Olivia and Marcy. We get to see Marcy's reaction to this utopia in general with Olivia, and Olivia talks about how she took an oath to protect not just Utopia, but like all of Amphibia, the wildlife, the land, all of it. And so Marcy herself even agrees, she's like, this is beautiful, you guys took me in, you helped me with my leg. I love the continuity with that, because yeah, remember in the Marcy theme song takeover, she woke up in Utopia and then fell down a flight of stairs. So I like that little connection with Olivia and Marcy, that Olivia is really glad that Marcy feels the same way about Amphibia as she does. And I do love I say love with a grain of salt, because we see, Olivia's looking off into the distance in the flashback of them, seeing the nice, wonderful, colorful land of Amphibia thriving in nature. And then you cut to this, like, wasteland with all the different, like, factories and refineries and all the smog in the sky. There's no nature at all. It's just dirt. There's a scene where like a mole is getting shoved by this. Oh my god, transitions that do it really good, like this one, it hits really hard. And so that's why I said this was a great transition, but take it with a grain of salt, because yeah, man. So obviously Olivia is very against King Andrias because of what he has done to the land, what he has done to Amphibia, and obviously she wants to take him down. Come on. And Yunan also agrees with Olivia, but she also sees that Andrias is a bit of a lunatic, because there's a moment where Andrias calls Olivia and Yunan to his quarters, but before they enter, they peek in and they see Andrias is seemingly talking to no one. Like, he's talking to someone, but there's no one there. But anyone who has seen, obviously, the previous episodes would know it's this mysterious thing in the basement, the multi-eyed creature. Of course, I personally thought maybe it was like a telepathic communication between the two, and at first it seems like that, and it kind of is too. But, they don't see him, they don't see anything, they just see Andria seemingly talking to himself, so they think he's kind of losing his mind. So Olivia and Yunan decide to team up, and they figure, if we're gonna beat Andres, we need someone who is smart, who's strategical, who really will know how to beat him. The only person to beat him in Flipboard. It's like, okay, so they need Marcy, and I did find that interesting. I found that line interesting. Like the only person to beat him in Flipboard. Now the reason why I say that is because in the first Temple episode, when Marcy said she got so good that she beat King Andres, a part of me felt like maybe Andres let her win so she can continue to build that confidence. So to have it actually be, oh no, he was trying, he was legit trying to beat Marcy, just shows how smart Marcy is. So yeah, it doesn't come as a surprise to me what happens in the end of her in this episode, but it also doesn't come as a surprise to me that Yunan and Olivia need her, but also I understand Olivia, wanting to help Marcy because she trusts her, but I did find it interesting that Yunan was, like, against it at first because, as she states, all humans are just backstabbers, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with how they've been presented to you so far. But but again, it's like in the theme song takeover, we saw that bit with Yunan and Marcy on the pirate ship. I'm like, there has to be some bit of a connection between the two, and really there seemingly isn't at first, but yeah, so Olivia and Yunan, they just both agree to get Marcy, and so they have to do that. They have to sneak past the robots, and you get that scene. You think in the trailer it looks like Yunan is going to, like, fight off the robots as she jumps up and has and pulls out her claws, but really it's just her climbing and swinging over them so they don't get detected, which is a cool maneuver. Then they go to Marcy's room, where then they open up the secret passage, which is great, because if we remember in the sleepover to end all sleepovers, they go down to the basement, they get lost, they try to escape, and where do they end up? Back where the whole thing started. So I like it how they go to the bedroom and they open up the trapdoor and they go down that way. And I also like that Olivia has been down there before, even though that she isn't allowed down there. I found that intriguing, but it makes sense. So, they run into the Moss Man, who Olivia, at first Yunan is a little defensive, but Olivia's like, no, it's harmless, it won't hurt you. And so the Moss Man gives Yunan a flower, like an offer of friendship, which is really nice. And then Olivia drops this bombshell. I guess it's a bit of a bombshell, the weird translucent character, and there's translucent things that are all around in the underground area. Yunan asks what the heck they are, and Olivia's like, I feel like these are otherworldly prisoners that our ancestors took. And I'm like thinking, oh, that's the case? Oh, because like Andrea said, conquerors of other worlds. Oh, it's like you take these creatures back here and they're prisoners. Ooh. Yeah, so, but, they work their way to where Marcy's being held. They get her out, and I just love it when they're able to get away with a character just acting completely out of it, just being like a little bit tipsy. So Marcy, they get her out of the rejuvenation tank. Then she's just like, and I love it. She's like Sashi, and then like Olivia's like, oh boy, and then Yunan's just like, wake up, Yunan, wake up. So I love that. She's a little bit out of it, and so Olivia and Yunan have to help her up, and then they, at first it seems like they're just gonna be walking out of there, but then, oh man, this is a really cool trap, I think. Is just, you get this like Scarecrow Mysterio combo where the room transforms into the outside wasteland of Amphibia, of Newtopia, and so then you get like Yunan, Olivia, and Marcy all experience like some of their greatest fears, which is insane. Like Olivia, a monstrous version of her mother who looks down upon her and says, "How could you let this happen?" Yunan is apparently afraid of the grub hog, which I could not stop laughing at. And like Marcy's like, "You're afraid of that?" And Yunan's like, "I had a bad experience once when I was a kid, alright? The thing nearly ate my arm off." And I'm like, yeah, if something nearly ate your arm off, maybe you might be afraid of it. But yeah, so Yunan gets afraid of the grub hog, who then turns into a giant monster and then replicates itself. So Yunan, and then Marcy's biggest fear is obviously facing Sasha and Anne after what happened. And you know, I love it when these shows nowadays take a page from like Gravity Falls, especially with Matt and Data, because anytime they take a page out of Gravity Falls, you know it's gonna give kids nightmares. So for Anne and Marcy, you know, at first it's just like Anne and Marcy, they have these bit of a demonic voice to them, but then they combine into this one scary looking kid with the rotating heads. Like it's like walking to Marcy, and as they walk, the heads continuously rotate. It's so creepy and terrifying. And so Marcy, of course, gets super scared, but then but as she pointed out prior to the whole thing, it's a projection, it's not real. But obviously it's pretty hard to conquer your fears. But then Yunan figures out that the projections, you know, like there's a bunch of eyes that are scattered about. And I love the sound effect for it. Like she's backed up against the wall, and she puts her hand over one of the eyeballs by accident. And I just love how there's like 4 grub hog monsters that are right there. One disappears, but I love it when it disappears because the sound effect is just, I don't know why. I mean, I think part of it is because the music cuts off too, like right at that scene. It's like there's the music, you got the grub hogs, everything's so intense. But then the one disappears, and it's like, and the music goes dead. So funny. I love it. But basically, Olivia, Yunan, and Marcy figure out that they can destroy the machine if they just find out the eyeballs and take it out, and they do. Love that. I love the 3 of them working together, and they even Yunan, and when they were in Marcy's room, grabbed Marcy's crossbow, and she tosses the Marcy. Marcy puts it on and just fires at the last one, destroys it. The whole thing goes down. They seem to, they conquered the trap, and it's like, okay, now all they gotta do is escape. But obviously, Andrews was probably knew, and that's exactly what happens, because he shows up, he throws him back down, and so of course, Olivia is like, "How the heck did you know we were down here?" And Andrews is like, "Oh, we've been watching you the whole time." And then his crown has one of the eyes, which is such a genius thing to have, because he's always wearing it, and it's literally direct communication with them then. And so we finally get like a good chunk of what the heck this thing is. And so at first, you know, you think, oh, it's like some weird monster thing, and you know, because when we saw it in the first temple, you know, we only saw the eyes, but apparently here we get a rundown of what it is. So Andrew says the greatest minds in Amphibia were stored into this core, and that's what this thing is. It's not a creature, it's a machine. It's a giant machine that is like the core, and it contains all the greatest minds of Amphibia. And so Andrea's talked about how the Mossman helped them advance with help in terms of technology and health, but he said the Shadowfish is what truly pushed them further to not only understand the human mind, but also gain the ability to conquer death in a way. Like he said, like they're able to live on in a way. And so basically how you live on, you transfer your mind into this core. But unfortunately for Marcy, the core is looking for a host, and Marcy is the host. And as we saw in the trailer, with the suit and the helmet. That's exactly what happens, and they do not pull any punches with how terrifying this process is. They like strap her to a chair, they put the helmet on, all of a sudden you get just Marcy screaming, you get a silhouette on the wall with just like her head, just all of that. It's like terrifying music in the background. Yunan and Olivia are witnessing the whole thing, and then just the core goes dead. All of it goes into Marcy, and then she becomes the host. You get the shot of her, her body snapping and moving into place, and then you get the creepy smile, and then you get the final words of the first words, like, "Well, hello there," and then it cuts to black, and it's like, or no, it doesn't cut to black. Excuse me. It fades. The thing fades out, but the eyes stay there for an extra few seconds, and then it fades out. Oh. Oh man, I would have found it interesting if that was the mid-season finale, or even like the 5th episode. I mean, but in terms of like leaving the fans on a cliffhanger, oh my god, because Andrew is talking about, oh, if you're wondering what our big plan is, they'll explain it to you, but they don't, because they just brush it off. It's like, oh, sorry, we're out of time, so I'll leave you with that. But, oh man, this episode, I mean, we knew Marcy was going to get possessed by this thing in the trailer. They show it in the trailer, so we knew it was going to possess her. I just didn't think it would be 100% complete possession, because, because by the looks of it, this thing is now out of the core and is in Marcy, so it seems like the big fight is going to be getting Marcy, freeing Marcy from whatever this thing is. But it's going to be kind of hard when you have all of this in her. Like, it's that she's now stuck in this suit. You got, like, it's technological, it's like ones and zeros. Like, it's an AI in a way. It's like, yeah, it's pretty much an AI if you think about it, because all the greatest minds stored into this core, it's pretty much AI. So I guess really, yeah, the big question is, why are they doing this? That's really the big question I got out of this, is why are they doing this? And obviously we're gonna find out eventually. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I got out of that. So yeah, I mean, if you want more story-driven episodes, here you go, people, because, oh my goodness. I mean, great episode, dark episode, another episode that can scar children. I probably would have there may be some final scenes that are gonna be scary to some viewers. I mean, oh my god, so, yeah. Alright, that's pretty much all I got for this one, so hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, and if you want to subscribe. You don't have to, I'm just saying. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. I feel so bad for Marcy, man. She's like, first she got stabbed, and then she got possessed. It's like, give the girl a break. I mean, she brought 2 girls to another world because she wanted to escape. Okay, let's end it here.